Hey guys, Lou Wizard here with another video for Gems of War, and it's the first Friday of the month, which means we have a new Mythic Troop out. So we're going to go and try to get it. We're going to see what our luck is like. We're going to open a bunch of keys, try to get this new troop. And then there's also a new faction they released that has some new troops in it. I already took a little sneak peek at that, so if I have time in this video, I might also cover what I think of those troops for that faction. But the main thing is this new Mythic Troop, so we're going to go and, as always, I like to take a look at its abilities first before we go and try to get it in opening the keys. So let's take a look here. This guy is called Ullor, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's a Glacial Peaks troop. It's Divine, Fey. We do have the possibility of starting Divine troops with 40% starting mana. With the legendary troop Divine Ishbala. So if you do include that with this troop, we can get that started, with 40% mana. It has a 24 mana cost, blue, brown, and purple. Let's take a look here at its ability. It says it will eliminate 22 attack from the first two enemies and 22 magic from the last two enemies, and drain all mana from the two strongest enemies. That sounds pretty awesome. I'm already liking this new Mythic Troop. Let's take a look at its traits. It is immune to Frozen, and its third trait, which is always the best one, says that it will freeze and fairy fire a random enemy when matching blue gems. So that's pretty awesome. I'm already thinking that this will be a really good troop to counter goblin teams, because goblins have that extra turn ability, and when you freeze a troop, it will stop it from getting an extra turn. So that's really awesome. I think this will be a good troop for that. The eliminating attack and magic is pretty awesome, and then it also drains mana from the two strongest enemies. Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good troop. So let's go see how my luck is. We're going to start with opening my guild keys. And one thing to note here, whenever you're trying to get the new Mythic Troop that comes out once a month like this, you do not want to use your event keys, because the event kingdom is different for this week than for opening your gem keys, glory keys, and your guild keys, also VIP keys. Any of those four will get you this new mythic if a mythic is going to drop from opening keys. So what I like to do is I like to start with the guild keys first, and then go from there to probably glory keys, and we're going to see. I have 7,405 these guild keys. I've had some pretty good luck in the past, so I'm hoping that I do have good luck here as well. So we're going to go ahead and open 1,000 of these at a time. We got one legendary there. That's a good sign. Hopefully we'll get this new mythic. This is a mythic troop that I might think about getting 2 of them maybe. Just because, wow, we got a lot of legendaries here from from that opening. We got definitely a good one here. We got Yao Guy. This thing is, in my opinion, it's as strong as some of the best mythics in the game. I don't know why it's a legendary troop. So we got another legendary there. Another legendary Frost Feather. Not a horrible legendary. Does damage to all enemies. If there's an ice storm, it curses all enemies, and curse is actually a really good negative status effect if you know how to take advantage of it. And we got a couple more we can open for our guild keys here. And nothing. So we're going to go start opening some glory keys. I have 6,308 glory keys, so we'll see if we have some good luck there. I also have over 2,000 gem keys saved up, so I'm feeling pretty good about getting this troop. Just a matter of how good my luck is this week. And there it is. We got the new mythic. Wow. Yay, we got it. That was really quick. We got it in glory keys, which usually takes a few thousand or more of the glory keys to get it, but we got it. That's awesome. So let's see if we can get, let's open a couple more thousand of these. I'm just curious to see if we can get another one out of this, out of these glory keys. That'd be awesome. We got a second one. But yeah, as far as using like a second one, what I think would be probably really good about having two of them in a team is that trait that it says whenever you match blue gems, it's going to fairy fire and freeze them. So if you really wanted to shut down a team with freeze, having two of them in your team would allow you to freeze the the enemy team constantly. But freezing them is going to be pretty easy even with just one of them if you have an ice storm. If you have an ice storm and something to explode the board, you will have a lot of stuff coming down to freeze. And I opened a couple thousand glory keys more, and I still haven't got a second copy, so that's alright. I think I'm going to stop here, and we'll check out its ability real quick and try to make a team with it. So let's go check it out. And you know, these goblins, like right here, okay, this is a good team to play against because it's a goblin team, and as I was saying earlier, this might be a good troop for fighting against that. So let's go ahead and build a team here. Let me pick out which team do I want to change. Yeah, I'll change this one. Alright, let's find this guy. He's got a real weird name. Starts with Ullor, I think it was. Yep. We gotta upgrade this thing first. Unlock all of its traits. Alright. Fully traded, fully upgraded. So, I'm going to put that in there. As far as a weapon and class, I got to think about it here for a second. Now, as far as like an ice storm, we could go about this two ways. We could put a troop in there that generates an ice storm every single turn. I have Skady, which would work for that. Or what we could do is use a weapon that will generate a ice storm. So we're looking at, I think Jar of Eyes would be good maybe with it. So we'll try that, I think, first. If I can find Jar of Eyes wherever it is. There it is. Okay, so we'll put Jar of Eyes at the top maybe. As far as the class, and we could just go Titan. That'll give us some barrier on brown matches. For banner, we're going to want to go a double blue. Probably brown. So we'll do something like the Sorrowful banner. Let's see what other troops we can put with this. Because again, this troop, the only thing about it is that it's stealing magic. It's eliminating attack. Well, it eliminates. It doesn't steal. So it's eliminating attack, eliminating magic, and then it drains mana. So it's not doing any kind of like actual damage itself. So we're going to need a couple of troops here that are going to do damage. Preferably that use blue because we're generating an ice storm. So maybe if we go with something like Aquaticus, and let's see what else we can use in here. We could do something like Mistralis. We could do something. This is very mythic heavy team. And instead of the double blue brown, I'm thinking maybe a double blue green. Yeah, we're not using red. We might as well go with this banner here. And then we'll see here. But matching blue gems is going to freeze these enemies. And we're fighting against the goblin team, which are really annoying to fight against because they get so many extra turns. So let's see here what we can do. Right away, we got lucky with a 4 match of green. And we can go ahead and explode the board, create that ice storm. There we go. We just froze that guy down there. Match some more blue. There we go. And let's go ahead and cast Mistralis first. Get that extra turn. Cast Aquaticus. Wow. We had a lot of blue match in there. That was cool. But really, like, the passive effect that I'm seeing that's really awesome here is the Fairy Fire. You know, I was focused on the freeze at first, but it's also using or placing Fairy Fire on the enemies, which Fairy Fire does. You're going to do an extra 50% spell damage to enemies that have Fairy Fire. So this is actually really, really awesome here. I'm going to go ahead and cast it. I just stole a bunch of attack and magic. Wow. Yeah, we had no problem defeating that goblin team. That that makes me so happy. You know how many times I've fought goblin teams and just watched Gobtraffle just destroy me? So yeah, I think this is a pretty good troop. I like it. Just even for unlocking that third trait, that's really what makes it amazing. I do think that its ability is also pretty good. Eliminating attack, magic, and draining mana, that's all really good. But it's not going to do any damage, spell damage at least on its own. It will do attack damage if it's at the top spot, but again, it doesn't really need to be there. It doesn't look like it's meant to really be there because of the it doesn't have any way in its traits to reduce damage from skulls or dodge it. So, but it's a really great support troop, I think, just because of that third trait. You're going to freeze and Fairy Fire, which means you're going to shut down any kind of extra turn abilities that the enemy will have, and Fairy Fire will give you 50% extra spell damage. So, yeah, that's a really good Mythic Troop. How I would rank it, I think I would place this somewhere in the A tier rank. That's how I would probably place it. And yeah, that's what I think of that troop. I think it's good. I think it'll complement a lot of good teams, and it'll be a good anti-goblin troop, which is awesome. So yeah, it looks like I have some time in this video to check out this new faction and a few troops down there. So let's go check that out. I already did a little quest and opened some portals and all that kind of stuff down in here. So if we go down here and check this out, there's I thought there was an easier way to look at the troops down here, but I guess not. We're gonna have to go into troops and kingdoms and find it's Worm Run is the new faction. So here's the 4 troops that's coming out for this new faction. Lowest rarity to highest rarity. We'll go through all of them here real quick. Lowest rarity troop is called Horned Worm. This guy deals 23 damage to an enemy. If the enemy dies, it'll create 10 skulls on the board, and it reduces damage from skulls by 30%. It'd be awesome if it was 90%, but 30% is still okay. Next rarity is another worm. This guy will drain up to 12 mana from an enemy, create skulls equal to mana drained. Also reduces damage from skulls by 30%. So far the theme with these troops has to do with skulls. The 2 lowest rarity are creating skulls on the board. The next rarity up is called Terra Worm. This guy will gain 21 attack and armor boosted by skulls, and the boost ratio is a 2-to-1. So half of the skulls on the board, that number will be added to its attack. But then it also will explode 3 gems, and that number cannot be changed at all, so you're always only going to explode 3 gems with this troop. This one reduces damage from skulls by 50%, a little bit higher than the other two. And that makes sense because it is a little higher in rarity. And finally, for the legendary troop called the Great Worm, this guy will deal 22 damage to all enemies boosted by skulls. And it reduces damage from skulls by 30%. It also allows all dragon allies to start with 50% mana. That's pretty awesome. It is, all the troops are dragon troops. Now, the only thing about this that I would say is that that's pretty cool, but we do have another troop that allows all dragons to start with 50% mana. So that's a little redundant, but at the same time, this troop does damage. I don't think the other troop that starts them all with 50% mana does any damage at all. It was kind of just a support troop, or it like spawned maybe a troop. But yeah, this deals damage to all enemies boosted by skulls. That ratio is 2 to 1, so it's half. And so half of the skulls on the board will be added to the damage that this troop will do to all enemies. So it's not a bad legendary troop. Not bad. So yeah, I think there's a few good troops in there for this new faction. And of course, this whole week, the new faction, there's an event going on for it. So be sure to come over here and go ahead and go through the event. There is a weapon in here that I could take a look at, because whenever there's a new faction that comes out, there's a new weapon. Before I buy it, though, let me take a look here. I should be able to see what it does. This one's called Dragon's Talon. It deals 29 damage to the first 2 enemies boosted by skulls, and the boost ratio is half. It's 2 to 1, so that spell damage, the more skulls you have on the board, the better. The more spell damage you'll actually do with this weapon. And it's doing it for the first 2 enemies. Not a horrible weapon, but there's nothing really special about it. It would be better and more powerful, slightly more powerful, if it did a boost ratio of 1 to 1. Because there's only so many skulls you can have on the board before they start to connect. And then you're just not going to have any skulls, not that many left on the board at that point. So there's only so much damage you can do with that boost. But yeah, so and dealing damage, it's not nothing really that special. Like if it did true damage, or if it stole life or something like that, it might be a little more special. I can't see myself using this weapon that often, honestly. But it's not a horrible weapon. It's just not something I would go to, because I have a lot better weapons in my arsenal. But I'm gonna buy it anyway, because you never know. Sometimes they come in and like change the weapon later in the game. So I just like to collect as many of them as I can. But yeah, so that's what I think, guys, of those troops, and also the new Mythic Troop. I think it's a pretty good support troop, and especially for that last trait that's gonna freeze and fairy fire the enemies. That fairy fire, I didn't really count that in when I first looked at it as something that would be good, but as I used it, I saw how good that could be. So yeah, it's a pretty good troop. I'd place it probably in A tier for a support troop. And that's pretty much all I have for you guys in this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you on the next video. Later.